Stop playing so small. My name is Adrienne Grace. I am a manifestation coach and an intuitive, and today I want to talk to you about a psychedelic experience that I had where it showed me that we are all playing so incredibly small. So over the weekend, my partner and I decided to take some mushrooms, and if you know me or have been following my journey for a while, I talk a lot about plant medicine. It's been really integral in my journey, starting with an ayahuasca retreat in 2019, sent me on this completely different path and had me quit my job in 2021 to pursue my passion-based business doing this. And since then, I've been involved with different other modalities and psychedelics, and they've all served me in a lot of different ways, and I've had some really profound experiences on them. And this past weekend was no different. And when I do them, sometimes it can be really uncomfortable. Sometimes it's showing me things from my past or just perspectives that are different than what I'm really seeing that can feel really uncomfortable. The truth behind things, the truth of the reality, again, maybe some suppressed experiences that I've had in the past. So I don't recommend that you do this on your own. My partner and I are very experienced with it ourselves. He actually owns a ketamine clinic, and so we feel comfortable enough having just each other as our support. But it really matters the set and setting, which is like your mindset going into it, the setting where you are, where the stuff is sourced from, and all of that. But anyway, so in this experience, I saw how we as humans are all God. We are so powerful. We are manifestations of the one source. And I saw this so clearly. Yet we're all walking around in these small stories that we're playing this game where we're limiting ourselves so much by the stories that we tell ourselves, and it keeps us playing so small, and we have no idea that we literally are the creator incarnate. We are God incarnate, and we have the power, not obviously as power over any other, but we are powerful in our own rights, and we're just an expression of that one consciousness, that there is only one consciousness at the core, and we are just individuations of that consciousness. And everything that we see, the trees, the birds, the animals, are all just expressions of this one consciousness. But what makes humans really unique is that we have this unique ability to focus our attention. And we feel very separate from everything else, which is actually both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it gives us the perspective that we're separate so that we can admire the beauty of this world that we live in. But the curse is that we've gotten so entrenched in that separation, where we feel so separate, where we believe that we're separate. And that is just a mechanism of the ego. Now, the ego is not a bad thing. It's an anchor. It's a lens that we're wearing over consciousness that makes us feel like we're having a separate experience. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the ego. It's just that it's unconscious. It's not aware. And so I like to think of the ego as like a scuba mask, a scuba diving mask, right? That it allows us to see in this third dimensional reality. Right? And without it, we wouldn't be able to orient ourselves. But again, sometimes there's inherent problems with this separateness because we think it's just us against the world. Now, I believe that humanity is going through a major ascension, and we are growing, and our consciousness is evolving, and it's raising, and we're becoming aware of the truth of who we really are, that we are this one consciousness. But where we are in the stage of evolution is more like toddlers, right? And so when you see toddlers do something, like they cheat to win a game, or they smack their sibling, or they, I don't know, just eat something off the ground, whatever it is, you don't get mad at them because you think that they're bad. You're just like, oh, they're a toddler, they're learning. And that is what's going on with humanity. So what's going on with humanity right now is that these people who are in just such separation, they have no idea the truth of who they really are, And they're driven by this fear and by their ego to keep that illusion alive. And in that, they're causing a lot of chaos, but it's not because they're inherently bad. I mean, maybe that could be, but it's just that they're completely unconscious to this greater reality. So I believe that the best thing that we can do is do our part, is wake ourselves up to this truth, wake ourselves up to knowing that we are God, that we are powerful creators. And it was just so interesting to see this whole game that we're playing with ourselves, that our attention is our greatest asset. And I talk about this a lot in my videos and with my clients, that our attention is our greatest asset, because whatever we give our attention to, we're giving our precious life force energy to. That's consciousness. We're giving consciousness to what we're focusing on, what we're giving that attention to. And what we're giving our attention to expands. It gets fed in that way. So when we're all giving our attention to the news and to the negative events that are happening, we are literally feeding those things with our precious life force, which is sustaining those very things. And so there's a lot of beings and energies out there that are vying over our precious attention, because they know how powerful it is to be able to sustain themselves through this vital life force. So the most rebellious thing that you can do is just turn your focus inward, focus on what you want, focus on yourself, focus on the things that you care about and what you want to create in this world, and not give any power or attention to what it is that you don't want. I also saw that social media is so tricky, because that's another tool that's using to get all of our attention, and it's sustaining on our attention. And if everyone were to be honest, when they were on social media, it would sound something like this. I really want your attention. I want you to think that my life is amazing. I want you to think that I'm better than you. I want you to think that I know more than you, because this feeds my ego. This feeds my sense of self. And I want to use all of this to get rich or to make myself feel better. Now, again, I'm not here to judge, because that's me too. I'm not saying that that's not me. I'm guilty of this as well. And I saw that very clearly, that, we leverage these things because we're using them to feel a certain way about ourselves. But nobody takes the time to go inward, to turn our attention inside. Because when you do that, that's when you connect to that source. That's when you connect to that oneness and you feel your power. And so we're all so distracted by this outside world, seeking fulfillment on the outside, seeking happiness on the outside, seeking love on the outside, when all we have to do is actually turn inward and realize that we are everything. We're everything. We are everything. We're not separate from anything. And any seeking outwardly is never going to bring us the fulfillment that we seek, is never going to bring us the happiness that we seek. That it truly is something that we want to turn inward from. But this is this game that we're all playing in circles, like, oh, that looks so great. Let me go do what that person's doing. Maybe that'll help me. Oh, it looks like they're having fun. I'm going to have fun when I'm doing that. And then we're all chasing this game, this endless game of things and experiences. And, oh, that's going to make me happy. And that's going to bring me fulfillment. And it's just a funny game that we're playing. Now what happens is we want to just transcend this game, right? We want to realize that it is a game, and that we don't have to play the game like that. After I was seeing all this, I was kind of in this place all right, the end, game over. I see it. What's there left to do? And it was well, no, you still play it, but you play it with a lot more levity. Right? You play it with fun. You came here for fun. You came here to have this experience. Consciousness wanted to individuate so it can experience itself. You are the universe experiencing itself, and that's what you came here to do. And so it's yours to play and create. You don't have to create these stories about why you can't do something, why you have to do this, and why money is preventing you from doing the things that you want to do, and those are the things that are going to make you happy. These are stories in your mind and they're not true. You are choosing. Everything is a choice, and you can choose whatever you want. Take your power back, reclaim that power, realizing that all that power lies within. I love the analogy of a sun, right? The sun is the one consciousness, and every sunbeam is an individuation. Now, that one sunbeam is looking outward, and it's shining its light outward, and it sees a tree, it sees a house, and it sees itself. It says, oh, okay, like I'm this sunbeam, and there's a tree, and there's a house. But it has no idea that it's connected to that source, connected to God, until it draws its attention back in and turns around and then sees, oh my gosh, I've been connected to everything the whole time. We have that power through meditation, through stillness, through self-inquiry. You can find that within yourself. And then once you realize that, then you can come out and play this game with a lot more fun. Something else I was shown is really about our shadows. Now, Carl Jung has done a lot of work on shadows, and I've made YouTube videos on it before. There's tons of stuff about it out on YouTube or just on the internet in general about shadow work and how powerful it is. Now, our shadow are things that we've repressed about ourselves, things that we haven't owned, right? Because we thought that they were preventing us from being loved. And so we shoved it down. We didn't want to be those things. We pretended like we weren't those things. And so again, we shoved everything down and we disowned those parts of us. It's called the shadow because it's in the dark. It's not in the light of consciousness. We aren't even aware that we are those things. So for example, like what I've learned about myself is that I repress the side of me that wants attention. And I would get really mad and triggered when I would be at a party or something and somebody was taking up the whole conversation or getting a lot of attention. I'd be like, oh, how dare they? Because I would try so hard to manage myself and to not do that. But secretly, I actually wanted attention. But it's not a very attractive quality to say like, hey, I want attention, right? But what happens when you don't own it is that your desire for it comes out in like sneakier, shadier ways, right? And so, yeah, starting a YouTube channel or putting myself out on social media is a way for me to get attention in this disguise as I want to help people. Now, yes, I do want to help people and I love doing these things, but I think that there's a part of me that wants attention. And so when you're able to claim that, right, when you're able to own that, you take all that power back, because there's a lot of life force energy caught up in trying to suppress those aspects of you that you've denied. It could be that maybe when I was little that I tried to get attention and, you know, was yelled at saying that, like, don't do that, right? And so then I told myself that that wasn't good and I put that down. Or actually I was a really shy little girl and I think maybe I'd had a desire for the attention, but I was so scared of negative attention that I suppressed that desire to be in the spotlight. So there could be a multitude of reasons as to why we suppress certain things, but mostly it's because we're seeking love, we're seeking approval, we're seeking validation. Now, a great way to understand your shadow or know what your shadow is are the things that you're triggered by. Now, there's probably a lot of people that I know, or maybe that I don't even know, that watch my videos or see me on social media and don't like me because they think, oh my gosh, she just wants attention, right? And that's their shadow. That's because they secretly want the attention too. And so then they're getting mad at me for actually putting myself out there and getting the attention. So do you see how this works? The things that you're triggered by are the very things that you're suppressing. And so there's so much power in reclaiming that. So again, when I talk about that whole social media, if we actually just said what we were unconsciously doing is, hey, I want your attention. I want you to think I'm great. I want you to think my life is amazing. I want you to think that I know more than you, and I want you to help make me rich, right? That's what a lot of this game is about. And we want to just start owning that potentially. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good thing, right? Like, we don't want to, obviously that's not very becoming. That's why we don't outwardly say those things. But if we look, that's really what's going on here, right? And so how can we actually come from a more heart-centered place? Like, a lot of it is disguised as I want to help people. And of course, like, most humans do want to help, right? That's what we're here to do. We want to help our fellow humans. But okay, can I own the fact that actually, like, I think that that's going to make my life better in some ways. But when we realize that it's just a trap that keeps us engulfed in the matrix, it keeps us a prisoner in that game, seeking things on the outside, and it's never going to fulfill us. It's an empty game. It's a fruitless pursuit to be looking for all of these things externally. And I talk a lot about this in my other videos about how we need to cultivate those feelings of joy and happiness and love now, here, in this present moment within us, because we are not separate from anything. We are everything. You are everything already. Now that includes the bad too, right? All those characteristics that we don't want to be, right? We don't want to be greedy. We don't want to be jealous. We're suppressing that. Can we reclaim that? It adds so much more fuel, so much more power to us. Because when we hold shame around these things, that shame is the densest human emotion. It's stored in our body, it's stored in our energy field, and it's preventing the full life force flow of energy from running to and through us. And we can reclaim so much power, so much potential, so much energy just from claiming these things. Now, I believe that meditation is truly the shortcut to all of these things. It's the shortcut to awareness. It's the shortcut to knowing that we're God. It's the shortcut to manifesting. It's the shortcut to everything. If we could just find that stillness, if we could find that quietude, because in that stillness, we open up and we allow higher consciousness to come through us. We don't operate anymore from the mind and the mental programs and the limited programming from the ego. But instead, we allow something to be expressed through us. We can create from something coming through us, our highest expression. Oftentimes, we're creating from these small, limited beliefs, like, I have to make money, and I have to do it this way, and I have to do this, I have to do that, whatever those stories are. Right? Oh, I have to create content. I have to keep myself out there. I have to be relevant. I have to have a lead magnet. Right? All these things that we can get so entrenched in, right? And just this cycle, right? And so then we're creating from this low level place of trying to run from something. We're running to avoid something. We're creating from the mind. We're creating from that ego. The ego is the mind-made self, right? It's all these programs that say, like, oh, I'm this way because my mom did this to me. Even the words like, I am Adrian, even Adrian is a mental construct. It's just a mental construct, right? It's a label. And we are so much more than our name, and we are so much more than the ideas that we hold around ourselves. But we want to open up to this, and through meditation we can do that. And we want to get our body involved too, because everything is like associated with a feeling. So if we're thinking a thought, there's a feeling associated with it. And can we drop our awareness into our bodies? Now, if our attention is our greatest asset, then that means whatever we're placing our attention on, again, we're giving our life force energy to. So if you're completely engrossed and giving all of your attention to the thoughts in your head, you're literally giving them more fuel to think more thoughts. So if you have a fearful thought, it's like going down a rabbit hole. It's going to, if you're just giving all of your attention to that and getting invested into it, you're going to create a lot of fear. What if you create some space and say, like, oh, there's a fearful thought. You don't have to do anything about it. It's not going to go away. You don't have to change it. You don't have to fix it. You just be the awareness, witnessing it. Notice if there's a sensation in the body around it, and then just bring your attention to that raw sensation in the body and breathe through it. Get curious about it. We're really only limited by what we're not willing to feel. So often, again, we're running from emotions that we don't want to feel. We're running from things. Oh, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to fail. But what if you're able to fully feel those things? It liberates you. It frees you. And so how can we be the witness of our own mind without needing to change it? The mind is going to think, that's what it does. You just want to become aware of the programs, the tactics that the ego plays. And there's so much around this now. I mean, Eckhart Tolle is the biggest person who talks about the ego. I highly recommend both of his books, The Power of Now and A New Earth. And he has tons of stuff on YouTube where you can listen to the mechanism of the ego. Because once you see it, then you bring in this other level of awareness around it. And you are not that. You are the awareness witnessing it. And you can see how it plays these games. How it's always looking to feel superior to something. And it feels superior or inferior depending on what it has, and then it wants. It keeps this wanting cycle. It wants to want more than it even wants to have, because that's what keeps the illusion going. The ultimate death of the ego is just awareness of it, because once you see through it, then that means death for the ego. And the ego really lives based off of past and future. It really can't live in the present moment, especially when you're aware and you're present to its tricks. But the thing is, the ego is not bad. We definitely don't want to make it our enemy. It's part of us. It is a beautiful part of us, but we just want to have a different relationship with it. Right? We want to create our sovereignty. We want to see it. We don't want it to run our lives. We don't want to fall into the trap of letting it run our lives when it tells us you have to do this, or I should do this, or I need more money for this. And you can just be the witness of all of that, and while the mind goes, without having to change any of it. So I hope that this was informative. I really had a very deep and profound experience, and this is part of my integration of it. But I would love to hear if you've ever done plant medicine, or if not, if this video resonates with you. I really appreciate you being here and watching this, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.